Hi everybody, Hank Linderman here, coming to you live from Falls of Rough, Kentucky, in Kentucky's 2nd District here in Grayson County, and it's a beautiful day. I'm going to look at my thermometer. It is 78 degrees, so that's a wonderful thing. Spring is actually coming. You'll hear the fishermen are socially isolating out on the river. They're fishing, and you kind of can't blame them. I wanted to talk about some rumors and innuendos. I chose today's title as We Believe What We Want to Believe. That's kind of a bastardization of Tom Petty's line. I had a conversation today regarding some rumors that were going around, and I've already discussed this big one, and that is that the virus might have come from a germ warfare lab in China, that it might have come from Wuhan, that there's apparently some sort of lab there that possibly this virus came from there. So I want to assure everybody, I have a friend who's a surgeon and a virologist, and I called him up more than a week ago and asked him this very question. Is there any possibility that this virus came from a laboratory, whether it was by accident or on purpose or whatever? And he explained to me, he said, Hank, I know how to do this stuff. I can do recombinant DNA and RNA. I've done this. I know how to splice genes into viruses. He said, when you do that, it leaves behind markers that are fairly easy to find. And so he said, there is no way that this came from a lab. This was not created by splicing any genes. It was not a human-created virus. It's 96% the same, I believe, as I think he said the SARS virus, but that's where I could be wrong. But anyway, he said it was 96% the same as another virus, and it occurred naturally. And of course, we also know that the virus now travels primarily from person to person. So the reason I mention this is that the person who told me about it, who's a friend, said, well, I saw a white paper from someone in China who has since disappeared, claiming that this was the result of some nefarious work or some sloppy work going on in a laboratory. And even when I said, look, I know this surgeon virologist, he didn't really want to accept it. I could tell he wanted to reserve. Look, folks, track it down a little bit. Don't just take don't take something that's a rumor or innuendo at face value without paying attention enough to look into it. I guess you can hear, you can see the fishermen back behind me. Yep, there they go. Also in the rumor and innuendo department, this turns out to not be a rumor. A tiger in the Bronx Zoo was tested for coronavirus and apparently tested positive. So those of you that own cats, there doesn't appear to be a reason for you to be concerned about your cat. And the indication is that so far, cats, even big cats, can't transfer the virus to humans. So don't worry about that. We have what appears to be good news, but I want to be very skeptical about it, and healthy skepticism is a good idea. I'm looking at Worldometer, or worldometers.com, for their update. We have fewer cases in the United States today, less than we had yesterday. We still have a fairly significant death toll as of today, still over 1,000. But there's an appearance that the amount of new cases is dropping, and before everyone gets excited and starts to run outside and going wild like we used to do, we really need to be careful for a number of reasons. One is, I don't believe we can yet fully trust the statistics we're seeing, and that's because we really still don't have testing in the United States to the degree that we need to be able to get a handle on this disease. Only 2 days ago, maybe it was 3 now, the FDA approved a very fast test, a test that you can take and you can get an answer very quickly. It was only approved recently, and it certainly hasn't been distributed yet, so we're a ways away from that. But it does appear that the rate of new infections is dropping. The rate of deaths is still hovering pretty high, over 1,000 so far today, and the day is not over yet. In Kentucky, we appear to be doing very well still. Thank you, Governor Andy Beshear. But again, we still need to be very cautious. The next, let's see, where am I? So we don't know yet whether we're cresting. We certainly hope we are, but even when we are, we need to be cautious. Otherwise, we're going to see some relapses. The things that I've seen in Kentucky, for example, we appear to be flattening the curve, but that also means we are lengthening the curve. So we may not be really back to normal for another couple of months here in Kentucky, which is going to be difficult, but we can do it. I do want to encourage everybody to have healthy skepticism when you hear these rumors, but please pass things on to me because people send me things, and that's very helpful. One thing that I think we all need to be concerned about is there's going to be corruption with the new bailout. This is the largest bailout in the history of the nation. During the 2008 financial meltdown, President Barack Obama asked for $1.5 trillion. He was given $800 billion. This bailout of $2.2 trillion is 2.5 times as big. And there's going to be corruption at some point or another. And for example, some of the corruption's legal. I can't remember who said it. It might have been Mark Twain. Samuel Clemens said the scandal isn't what's illegal, it's what's legal. There's going to be a major tax deduction for real estate developers. There is one in the bailout. And it's $170 billion over 10 years. So for people who are developers, they're going to do really well with this. Do you know of any prominent real estate developers anywhere in the world? You just wonder how this made it into this bill, but it did. And I hope we're going to be following up on seeing where this goes. Meanwhile, the story I'm seeing is that your $1,200 check is not quite on the way yet. It could take up to 5 months for you to get your check, so please try to carry on. There's some other corruption going on. There's a story, and I'll post these stories, by the way, once the video becomes something other than live, once it becomes posted. There's medical equipment that was in China, that was originally manufactured in China and had wound up in other countries, primarily Australia. And when the pandemic was just getting going in Wuhan, China bought back a bunch of those medical supplies from Australia. And now they're being sold back to the rest of the world at double the price they were repurchased for. So we're going to see this kind of speculation going on, and that is something I hope that in the future, when we have this next crisis, that we get a better handle on managing this price gouging thing. I do have, let's see if I've got something good to tell you. Yes, we talked about real estate. I do. I'm going to end with a good thing. Anybody out there watching Tiger King? It's one of those shows once you turn it on, you can't turn away from it. Well, winning the internet today are a couple of farmers who have painted their cow and dressed up to look like Tiger King. And it's one of the funniest pictures I've seen. So I will post that. Thank you all for being here with me. We'll be here tomorrow as well. Send me any information, send me questions, feedback, comments. I'm still working on getting guests. I'm not sure I'll be able to do it live, but that would be a wonderful thing. Anyway, you all have a great day. Spring is in the air. Go for a walk. Take care of your families. Take care of your friends. Have a great day.